Hey, folks, welcome to Verified Investing here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. Today's date is Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. Before we get into these charts, folks, I want to just talk a little bit about what you should keep an eye out for. First off, look to follow me on Twitter at Gareth Soloway. You can see exactly what I'm tweeting there. Information, trade setups, you name it, it's there. In addition, if you're interested in joining my service, come to InTheMoneyStocks.com. Look for my name at the top. There's a drop down that comes down, and you'll see my two services, Verified Investing Alerts and Verified Option Alerts. Just to give you a sense here, folks, 176 trades closed out this year. Those are swing trades, meaning we held them overnight for at least one day. Some of them 2, 3, 4, even a week or two, and we banked over net 1,500%. I think we're up to 1,520-something% for the year, which is just incredible. So this volatility that we're seeing in the market is exactly what we want. I want to be clear on that. All right, in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about 3 stocks that I want to be buyers of down here, and then 3 stocks that I think you need to be a strong seller of. The first stock that I would consider buying here, and I think it's at great support, and it's a classic retrace, is AT&T. Now, this isn't a sexy play, but honestly, this market is not a market for sexy trades, right? I mean, in all fairness, you should stay the heck away from the technology stocks. I'm going to explain that in just a little while, but ultimately, AT&T reported great earnings. The stock had a monstrous day here. And then look, it's retraced right back to the scene of the crime, which was the announcement. So you're basically getting it. And these are trades I love, folks. When you can buy a stock back at the level where they were before they announced good news, but now you have the good news in your pocket, you know what it is, that's essentially like as if you got it as insider information ahead of time. You're getting it at that price. And that's what happened with AT&T here. So AT&T, great dividend, good earnings. The stock, because of the market conditions, has come all the way back in here. You have supported gap fill, which we're tagging today. You also have a double bottom right over here. And again, you can see that pivot low right there. This, to me, is a no-brainer, safe trade that should net you 10% plus on the upside, plus a big dividend. All right, another stock, GSK. This stock hit a level today. We played it as a day trade in the live day trading room. I run a day trading room every day. Today we went 4 for 4 with 4 winners. Most members making over $2,000 today alone. All right, this is the level here. This is the buy level. Look at this fade on it. It's oversold. This is a sure play, same kind of deal. You want to look for these quality names into good support to be a buyer of. And look at the bounce already. Now, talking about bounces, Eli Lilly's another one. Look at this awesome trend line here, folks. Look at how good of a trend line this is. Going back to 2018, the early portion of the year, right through here, connects right through here. And look at what you touched today. And look, the stock is now green on the day in a bloodbath market environment. When you see a stock performing well in a bad market, that is a good sign. Okay, that is a very, very good sign. Speaking of which, I talked yesterday in my video about DKNG off of this level right here. Look at this, folks. We picked it up as a swing trade with members in Verified Investing yesterday. We are up on the trade. And think about that. The markets are getting crushed today. And this stock is up for us. It's basically flat on the day, down 25 cents. And again, from where we picked it up yesterday, we are up on this trade. And that's with this massive, close to 3% sell-off in the stock market. That's the key to knowing when a trade is a good setup. When you can have a big down day and you buy a stock and it still holds up during these enormously nasty sell-off days. All right, having said that, I want to touch base on some stocks that I would stay away from. Apple has earnings tomorrow. Microsoft reported yesterday. Microsoft was a big deal to me, all right? And by the way, I can erase, these are old trend lines we don't need to pay attention to. But bottom line is, Apple's down today. It has earnings tomorrow. I'm not going to pretend I know what Apple's going to do on earnings tomorrow, nor Google, nor Amazon, nor Facebook. They all report tomorrow after the bell. They're all getting crushed today. But what I can tell you is this. The politicians, both sides of the aisle, this is bipartisan, are going after these companies. Now, we've heard about that for years, right? And nothing's happened. Well, things have changed recently, all right? Whether it's, blocking links to this or doing this, and there is going to be a crackdown. Not only that, but you're going to have more and more talk of this monopoly. Do they need to break up these companies? It is going to be a headwind. Not only that, and I feel like but there's more, right? I mean, like the famous infomercial type stuff. But if you get a Biden win, which right now seems likely based on the polls, and again, the polls have been wrong before, but that's all I have to go on right now, you have major gains, long-term capital gains in these stocks. I mean, think about the amount that Apple's up just in the last few years or 5 years or whatever it is. These stocks, guys, there could be a massive unload of these names. So I would be short, and I am short Apple. I'm short Amazon. And again, the earnings themselves don't matter too much to me because I'll tell you this, Microsoft yesterday had a stellar earnings report. Stellar. They beat on revenue. They beat on earnings. Great growth, great margins. And you know what the stock's doing today? Down almost 4%. So this is telling us that investors, even with a great beat, investors aren't satisfied. They want these stocks lower and they're going to sell them. And I think, again, with the potential for long-term capital gains to go up, these stocks could get a lot cheaper. Now, the good thing about that is that for those of us that are short, we're going to make money. But also, if we're looking to eventually buy, which I will, they could give us great opportunities and great entry prices. So watch that closely, folks. Watch it closely, all right? So these are the stocks that I'd look to sell. I'd look to sell Apple, Amazon. Google's down big today, almost 5%. That's a tricky one to chase at this point. But Facebook, I think, is going lower. If you look at Facebook, folks, this is your short-term target on Facebook down here around 235 or so, right in this vicinity. There's a huge gap fill that it's got to fill. You hit right here, which was this support. Now, next time down, you're going to go through that and tag it. And again, the bottom line is the regulation. I mean, the regulation alone that's coming through is going to make it very expensive for these companies to operate. They're going to have to spend money to do it, and it's going to cut into profits. All right. In addition, it's the unknown. Will they get broken up? Is Facebook going to be forced to sell off Instagram, for instance, and spin it off? Who knows? We will find out. All right, now a few other things I just wanted to mention. I do like the marijuana stocks. I think, again, that based on the current levels that these are trading at, there's not a whole lot of downside if you don't get a Democratic sweep. Now, if you get a Democratic sweep, there's 50% to 100% upside in these names because marijuana will be legal in 2021 to 2022. But again, even if they don't, they're trading at levels. Like, look at Aurora Cannabis, ACB. ACB just made a new 52-week multi-year low today. All right, now it's coming back, and it might even form a bottoming tail if it rallies up a little bit more. But think about it, right? There's nothing priced in right now for a approval or decriminalization of marijuana at the federal level. If that were to happen, and Kamala Harris has said that in her debate with Mike Pence, is that they will do that. They will legalize marijuana. If that happens, folks, these stocks, I mean, you could see Aurora Cannabis back to $20. I mean, think about that type of move. Now, that's the aggressive case scenario, but it's not out of this realm. Now, yesterday, Aurora Cannabis came out and said they were going to do an offering. They were doing a shelf offering, which over the next, whatever time, they could sell up to $500 million in stock and warrants and so forth. That is a lot of people. We saw the stock down about 10% yesterday on that. I know that sounds negative, but it's actually a positive. All right, longer term, that's a positive because basically what it tells you is that if they're cash strapped, if originally before they did this, there was the question mark in my brain is like, can they survive? Can they survive? Well, if they're going to do up to $500 million, that means that they're around for at least another 5 years, even if burning $100 million a year. And I think they have about $150 million in cash right now, so they're good for a while out. But I don't mind when companies raise capital if it's the difference between them vanishing and going bankrupt or not. And Aurora Cannabis doing that gave me more confidence that I think at least over the longer haul, they're going to be a participant and a competitor in the marijuana business, especially whenever it gets approved at the federal level. And by the way, it's not to me a matter of whether or not it gets approved. It will eventually get approved. It's a matter of, does it happen with a Democratic sweep in the next 12 months, or is it further out in the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is? So these are things to think about, guys. Remember, come check me out at inthemoneystocks.com. Look for my name. There's a drop down under my name. you can see verified investing alerts, which is swing trading stocks, or verified option alerts, swing trading options. If you want live day trading, I'm in the room every morning. Again, 4 winners yesterday, 4 for 4. Yesterday, 3 for 3. The day before, 2 for 2. So far, we've had 9 trades this week, all winners. And again, talk to anyone in that live trading room. They are just ecstatic with the profits that are being generated. And the reason the profits are being generated is because the markets are active. They're giving us these opportunities, and we're taking advantage of them there. I give you my exact entry price, my exact exit. We talk about the levels sometimes, 20 minutes ahead of time watching for this level. When it gets there, we're patient. We sit back. We pull the trigger when it gets to that level, and we're in the trade. And the levels, what can we say? The levels based on the PPT methodology work. Have a great one, guys. Come join me at InTheMoneyStocks.com.